Peace, Trae. How you doing?
Hey, the original real lifer in the building. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I've been doing good.
Yeah, well, we always love to do a good recap. And I got some slides for you today. But just, tell us a bit about some good recap of the last 4 tips that you've shared.
Okay. Number one, real lifer point one is a real lifer gives 100% at everything they do. That's number one. Number two is a real lifer is 110% responsible for everything that they think, feel, say, and do. And then a real lifer makes their word bond and keep it impeccable. It's number 3. Number 4 is a real lifer pursues personal growth and development daily.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because you always have some good points under these real lifer tips. Tell us a bit about tip number 5.
Tip number 5, it's a good one because it kind of flies under the radar when you look at it. Real lifer number 5 is a real lifer sets an intention for the day every day. Now that may on top seem like, well, I set goals all the time, right? But it's a little deeper than that, where real lifer point number 1 is a real lifer just blank that up.
Yeah, no problem.
That. So the real lifer sees in your, that's number 2. Sees in mind what you feel, acting ways to manifest it. So that's number 2 actually. So real lifer, the first one is being able to see that in your mind what you want, and then think, feel, speak, and act in ways to be able to manifest that.
Mm-hmm. This is something that I think is important because when you talk about the building blocks to the tips, these other points really set up the foundation for that. And you could talk about intention all day, right? Like, oh no, every day I got good intentions to be, great,
Yeah.
But how you do that is important. So if you're not manifesting, if you're not seeing it, you're not going to be able to manifest it, Curtis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the other one is you want to make sure, real lifer 5.3 is you want to make sure when you set the intention that you don't end the day without meeting that intention. Because what that does is it strengthens your will or it weakens your will. Right.
Yeah.
So there's been times that I set an intention. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, I didn't do that. And I'll get up in the middle of the night to do that. Just keep myself honest and stay consistent with what I say I want.
Curtis, I'm going to tell you right now, I need to do that when it comes to this working out. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach Pasqualina. It's just been a whirlwind, right? And I got to find the time to be like, nope, I'm going to send that check mark right now today. I don't care. But it hasn't quite manifested like that yet. I need to see it every day to manifest it, Curtis. But you also have a tip where you're talking about money, time, and energy, right? Or money, energy, and time. Tell us a bit about that tip there as well.
So I
have it here as 5.2.
5.2. So that one's important because what it is, everything that we do in life, we're gonna pay in some way, and generally we pay in with those 3 things. METs. I call them METs. Money, energy, or time. Now, the energy piece, we pay with physical energy by actually doing the work, or we pay with mental energy, which is the thought that precedes the work.
This is something that I think, again, when you talk about these tips, you're so right, because you're like, oh yeah, people think about this all the time, but putting it down allows you to really be focused on what you need to do to accomplish that particular tip, right?
Yeah.
Like otherwise, it's just all in your head. Like even for me, there's certain things where I'm like, okay, the way I eat, or me working out, or this or that, and it's like, yeah, if I start just making it a habit, then you just become you kind of get into that automatic pilot mode. I feel like that's where you're really like you're greasing the wheels there, Curtis, right? And you're allowing all of these tips to really be how you are every day. Tell us about some of the ways that you really have manifested this real lifer tip in your own life.
Well, through real lifer, it's the 12 principles, right? So every day it's my intention to be able to fulfill each one of those 12 principles that I've created, because I know every time I check one of those boxes, I'm being the person I want to be and how I want to show up in the world. And by doing that, I know by being able to check all 12 of those boxes, then I'm going to be able to create the outcomes and results that I want in my life at a higher degree as I would if any of those boxes are unchecked.
Yeah. I think that this is important because you got to have a practice of it.
Mhm.
So, do you actually have like a notebook where you're like, all right, did this, did that, or set it out? Tell us a bit about some of the practical.
Yeah, there's actually a
ways.
checklist that goes along with it. So once I work with somebody on this, you get obviously the 12 points of the real lifer, but then you get a checklist, a weekly checklist, all 7 days. They have each of the 12 lifer principles on there, and then you check the boxes every day based on whether you did it or not. Now, at the end of the 7 days, you can kind of see where there's holes, where boxes haven't been checked, and now you can start to see, okay, these are the areas that I need to work in to be able to improve, how I show up.
Yeah, this isn't. Look, I mean, look. I might need the little, because right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. In my spiritual practice, right? It's like, all right, I gotta set intentions to, meditate daily, right?
Yeah.
And so I've just created a thing where I'm like, okay, before I get out of bed, I'm gonna get my meditation in, or before I go to sleep, I'm gonna get my meditation in. So there's these things that I have just been able to create as automatic kind of pilot things that keep me going in that regard. And then I start realizing, okay, how do I build on this? How am I gonna incorporate qigong on the days where I just know I need to get up and do it, right?
Yeah.
All of these kind of things are, for me, have become real important in my life. Yet I don't have a daily thing where I'm just like, I did do that. Yeah. What I started doing, and this has really been helpful for me, because I think you're absolutely right. Writing things down, having that kind of accountability visually for yourself is really key. So I started adding things to my calendar that I have on my, not just because I go by, oh my gosh, by my calendar on my phone. If not, you can forget about it. Y'all, it needs to be in the calendar there. But physically, on my wall, I have a calendar, and I just started putting things on there. And then when I look at it over a month of time, I'm like, ooh, okay, I got it in on these days. Okay, wait, I need to do this or that. So that has been really helpful for me. And I think that's another way that we can really utilize real lifer tip number 5 in terms of setting those intentions every single day and figuring out, like, did I do that? If I don't write it on the calendar and I got blank days, I'm like, oh, there, okay, there it is. So that visual is really helpful. Curtis, as always, such a great time with you. I got to give you that space, man. Look right there. Make sure people know how to catch up with our real lifer, Coach Curtis Calhoun.
Yep. You can catch up with me at curtiscalhoun.com. or Curtis at R Calhoun on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. And if you want any of the real lifer tips, if you want the checklist, or if you want to take advantage of some of the other tools that I offer, you can join on or check the website and get access to those there.
There it is right there. Thank you so much for bringing these tips to our audience and to me. I need these in my life. And every time, like even reading them to this morning and going through it, I was like, man, Curtis be on point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trae. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
Oh my goodness.